Madam Chair, it's 7:26.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me apologize for our tardiness. We ran a little over, and we apologize, and we appreciate your patience. Thank you so much. May I have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Shea, to establish a quorum?
Yes, Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth, Dr. Yvonne Elliott,
Present.
Ms. Williams, Dr. Coleman,
Present.
Ms. Lane, and Ms. Maura Real.
Present.
Thank you so much. At this time, I did that backwards because I didn't have it in front of me. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you very much. At this time, Ms. Maria, would you please read our board norms?
Yes. The Board of Education norms are as follows. Number 1, cohesive team. Under cohesive team, we will pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. We will consider all opinions, and we will assume positive intentions. Under number 2, collective agreement, collective voices to reach decisions, honor and respect the work of the board, honoring and supporting the board decisions at all times. Under number 3, be prepared for the meeting. The board will review the packet details and submit questions within the established time frame. Members of the board will arrive 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Administration will release board packets to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education within the identified time frame. And under number 4, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. Number 1, the Riverview Gardens Board of Education's decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, and not individual opinions or requests. And number 2, educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocol for voicing concerns, and that's policy KC, community engagement.
Thank
Those
you.
are our board norms.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
It has been moved by Dr. May to approve the agenda. Can I get a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
And second by Ms. Maura Real. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from Mr. Sistrom for Riverview Excellence.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, community, and scholars. Today for Riverview Excellence, we have 4 individuals. If you can stand when I initially call your name and read your accolades, and then we will present you with your honor and have you take a photo with the board after we have completed everyone. First, do we have Caden Singleton here? Caden Singleton and his family. Family, you can stand as well. All right. Let's see. All right. Caden Singleton is truly a shining star at LeMaster. You can come on up. Go ahead and come on up. Caden said, let me get my shine now. Here you go, Caden. So Caden, and you can stay up here with me. He's a 4th grader here at LeMasters, and he's a shining star. For those who don't know, Caden is the back-to-back, that's 2 in a row, spelling bee champion in the district-wide spelling bee. So let's give Caden a hand. And not only is Caden a spelling wizard, but he also excels in all areas of education. His parents play a crucial role in supporting and encouraging him every step of the way, creating a strong foundation for his success. So we want to salute you, Caden. Congratulations on winning back-to-back spelling bees. And he's going to be back next year. He's going to go for the three-peat. So congratulations. Thank you. You want to say anything to the board, Caden? He said nope. He said thank you. All right, we'll get your picture later. Next, well, let's give Caden one more round of applause. And thank you to his family for all the support. Next, Miss Phyllis Katz. Is she in the building? Phyllis Katz? Yes. Ms. Katz was recognized for her outstanding excellence in Riverview Garden School District with 10 years of dedicated service. She works tirelessly with small groups and individual scholars to provide intense reading and writing support. Ms. Katz, for your continued dedication to students and staff of Riverview Gardens, your contributions are truly invaluable, and we want to present you with the certificate. Ms. Katz, do you have any words?
It's fun to be here.
It's fun to be here. We're glad. Thank you. And we'll have you take a picture with the board shortly. But we have two board members also that we want to recognize. Can Dr. Nikita Coleman and Dr. Miranda Avant Elliott stand? Yes. So Dr. Coleman and Dr. May both have satisfactorily completed their legally required 1 hour board member refresher training from the MSBA. And this is something, so the board has to undergo 18 and a half hours of board training during their first year, and then they have to undergo 1 hour of board refresher training every year. And so we definitely want to recognize that our board has completed their training, that they are certified. Yes. Dr. May. And just to let you know, our board, they do the training, they put in the work, and they come in and make the decision. So we appreciate you for that. So now if we can have everybody stand up, and if we can have Caden come around and Ms. Katz come around and get a group photo. And let's give everybody a round of applause again. And family, you can come on up too. Be in the picture as well. Mr. Brown, yep, okay, everybody come on up. And that concludes Riverview Excellence.
Thank you, Mr. Sister.
At this time, Shay, do we have any public comment?
That's the programs of study. Yeah, I'll take it.
We do not? All right, thank you.
No.
Thank you. Do we have any announcements from the board?
All right, you all look beautiful who wore their African attire. And next month is Women's History Month, so please find some time to celebrate a woman. And there is going to be a blackout for those who are interested on the 28th, not to shop anywhere. That is something that I believe Al Sharpton and other leaders are promoting, a blackout on the 28th.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. At this time,
Oh, I do have one, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
please.
I forgot. Also, I don't know if Riverview Gardens has a student that may be participating in it, but right now we are going through the scoring of scholarship applications for students that attend all 17 regions. As far as the Missouri School Board Association is concerned, the winners, each region will receive $1,000, and then they have they can compete against the winners of each region for an additional $1,000 from the Missouri School Board Association. And then that's usually announced at the, I think it's the spring annual conference. Thank you.
thank you. At this time, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? It's been moved by Ms. Titsworth.
Madam Chair, I'll second.
And second by Ms. Morreale to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Please.
I don't have a question. I just mentioned the last time about the signatures at the bottom of the contract to reflect the school board. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
And I have them here, Dr. Von Elliott, for your review and for signatures as well.
Okay, you got the
Yes,
proper
ma'am.
information on there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. At this time, our student representatives?
Yep, she's right down here.
Oh, we'll have a report from our student representative.
Is it on back?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jewel Manor, one of the student representatives for the Riverview Gardens High School. Starting off with some of the positive things going on at school, students across our school have been actively participating in DocDash certification program. This initiative is a proactive and safe method for teaching our students, especially drivers and soon-to-be drivers, how to effectively communicate with police and first responders during traffic stops. It's a valuable skill that promotes confidence and safety for our student drivers. This week we have Black History Spirit Week. Monday was Black is Beautiful, so it was a blackout. Tuesday is Rep Your HBCU. Wednesday is Sunday's Best. Thursday is Unity Day. Friday is Melanin Day. And it's amazing to see our students and staff collaborating to honor Black history, culture, and pride through these inspiring themes. I'm excited to share that several students from our high school, particularly seniors, attended the Infinite Scholars Fair last Sunday at Harris-Stowe State University. While they were there, they received multiple scholarships and even full rides. It's inspiring to see our classmates actively taking charge of their futures and paving their own paths. I'd like to give a moment to shout out to our college and career advisors, Ms. TJ and Ms. Falls. They've been really instrumental and encouraged us to apply to scholarships and supporting us every step of the way from college applications to breaking down our award letters. So we want to thank you. some upcoming events. Seniors who have paid their senior dues will enjoy a skating field trip tomorrow. We will also be wearing our senior t-shirts, which were designed by our elected class officers and our senior sponsor, Ms. Atkinson. Also, the Black History Play has been rescheduled to March 6th at 7 p.m. The play is titled PLUA, which is P-L-U-A, which stands for Please Leave Us Alone, and it is set in year 1918 and explores the struggles and resilience of the Black community during that time. This play is written by history teacher Jonathan Haynes and senior Aaliyah Valiant, and it will be performed by the Drama Club at the high school. Tickets are $5, and we encourage everyone to attend this production and support our students. Once again, it is March 6th at 7 p.m. Thank you. This concludes our report.
Thank you. This time we'll have our superintendent's report. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. What did you say? Friday was Melanin Day? Is that what you said? I'm interested to know what that day is. Everybody wears shades of brown. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do want to mention, first of all, good evening. We had to dismiss our high school early. I think it was about 12:45 today because of a power outage. The high school power is still out, and Mr. Carl is working with Ameren to get that up and running. So we will see where we land in terms of school tomorrow for our high school. We will be sending robocalls and messages if there is a need to cancel the high school, at least them being on campus. So I will, much more information to follow. Mr. Carl just stepped back in. Do you have good news for me? Mr. Carl, you have one job, just one job. No, just keep us posted so we'll know. I just made that announcement. And also, I do want to mention that on March the 27th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Westview Middle School, we will have our district science fair STEM night, okay? It is March the 27th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Westview. There will be more than 15 community vendors as well as various school clubs. The Challenge Learning Center will also be present with their planetarium. So come on out on March 27th. I will make this announcement at our next month's board meeting as well so that we can make sure we have a good turnout. If you haven't been, it is a sight to see. The students are very excited about it. So please join us on March 27th from 5 to 7 at Westview Middle School. And Board Chair, that concludes my announcement.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have one more announcement. Actually, Ishmael is going to take this announcement.
Thank you, Dr. Patton. And I want to apologize to Ms. Katz. I forgot the most important part or an important part of her announcements. So she was named the Teacher of the Year for LeMasters Elementary. So I wanted to make sure we pointed that out for Ms. Katz. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
I just wanted to remind Dr. Patton that this year, you remember I said when they have the students at the annual conference, our fall annual conference, they don't have to be high school students to be on a part of the students showcase. I just wanted to remind you of that.
And Ms. Lane.
Ms. Lane, I'll look that up. I'll announce it. Let me look it up to confirm. Thank you.
All right.
And I can move right into items for information. Our first item up for information is the fund balance report. Making this presentation is Mr. Randall Charles. He is our interim CFO, and this is in conjunction with policy DIAA fund balance. Mr. Charles?
Good evening. You have the fund balance report, this typical format that you see every month. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but I'll hit just 3 or 4 real quick highlights. This report is year-to-date through the last day of January, so the first 7 months of this year. Some things to note is that our expenditures have outpaced our revenue this first 7 months considerably. Part of the reason is there's been some delay in revenue. Title funding, there's been a delay because DESE's been slow to approve the title budgets. So once those are approved, we'll get those. But I think we have about $4 million in reimbursements we're waiting to submit there. And then the county was a bit delayed on releasing tax revenue last month. It did not hit before January 31st. It has hit since then, so they have caught up. But a key thing to point out, through the first 7 months of this year, we spent $7.7 million more on salaries than we did the first 7 months of 2023. Let me repeat that. Salaries, we spent $7.7 million more the first 7 months of this year than we did the first 7 months of 2023. Benefits, similarly, we spent $3.1 million more through January 31st this year than we did the first 7 months of 2023. That's a 45% increase in just 2 years. So it underscores the efforts the district took while we had all the ESSER funding to add positions and programs and so on. But obviously that also underscores the need now to resize and bring things back within control, because there is no more ESSER funding moving forward. And I know a little bit later this evening, Dr. Patton will be talking to you about some of the efforts that have already been made to resize and some planned steps to be taken in the future. With all of that, and with some of the things that Dr. Patton will share, I want to remind you that we ended last year with a 37% operating fund balance, 37. We're probably going to drop to 22% by the end of this year. That's after the efforts we're making. And with the efforts that Dr. Patton's going to share with you this evening, we'll probably end next year around 14%. So it continues to move downward, not as drastically as what we were showing you as recently as a few months ago. And we still have some more work to do, because I think we need to improve upon that even further. But I just wanted to share those numbers with you to kind of put in context the discussion you're going to have a little later this evening. Be happy to respond to any questions or comments you might have.
Dr. Baseball.
So, the increases, that's based on, salary increases too, like steps? Then,
Yes, there were, as I understand, there was a significant improvement to salaries and wages a few years back to remain competitive with the general area, so there were some nice increases. There also are the steps and so on that calculate into that. And then there were also quite a few positions added. So it is a cumulative effect of all of that.
so I'm not sure, if I've heard this, a part of the conversation, but is there a discussion around freezing the steps for this year? What is the recommendation on that, or will it be discussed with the right side?
Yeah, that's part of negotiations. We're in the process, just starting that process with the RGNEA. But obviously, we'll keep the board apprised of that, probably in closed session. That's where we usually discuss negotiations.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Charles. Our next item up for information is the school data presentation for LeMasters Elementary School. Making this presentation is Ms. Barbara Sharp, the Executive Director of Continuous Improvement and Title IX, as well as Travis Brown Jr., the principal here. Got to get that junior and senior right with both of the Travises. Ms. Sharp?
Yes, good evening to the Board of Education, Superintendent Patton, colleagues, scholars, and members of the community. Tonight, Principal Brown will come and provide a presentation that will include information regarding student performance in the area of mathematics. He also will provide a comparison of student data in various tested areas, as well as other data and accomplishments of the school. Those accomplishments will focus on pride for the school. So at the completion of his presentation, Principal Brown will entertain any questions that you may have. At this time, please receive Principal Travis Brown, Jr.
Thank you. Good evening, Riverview Gardens School Board, Dr. Patton, community members, and colleagues. I am Travis Brown Jr., and tonight I will be presenting information regarding student performance, our goals, celebrations of the great things that are occurring here at LeMasters. And I want to welcome you all. It's not often that we get this many visitors in our house. So I would like to welcome you all to our house. All right, attendance is the first slide. Our attendance, we offer no excuses. Our attendance needs improvement. But we do have some things in place to assist us in that area. Some of the things we have is an attendance team, which consists of our attendance secretary, our school social worker, our home-to-school coordinator, and myself, and the teachers, of course. And we meet weekly to identify and track scholars' attendance. We also have conversations and set goals with identified scholars. Now, there's two groups of identified scholars. The first group of scholars that we identified and we meet with are those scholars that with attendance that's below 90%, which it will say they are missing a total of around 16 to 17 days, because after 17 days of absences, it's mathematically impossible to reach the 90-90 goal. So we meet with them, we send letters home, we call home to parents, we make home visits. Our social worker, we have incentives for those scholars, prizes, trinkets, certificates that we present them with when they meet their weekly goals that we set. And we recognize them in our daily morning meetings as well. Now, the second group is the scholars that will probably make 90. And that group will, or have perfect attendance throughout the year. All right, and so some of the things that we do for them is the certificates, the little trinkets, the awards, and things like that. But the big celebration for them is the quarterly block party. And this is where we lock down a wing of the building, and they have pizza, and they have music, and they dance, and they have a good time. And it's all in celebration of them coming every day on time and in uniform, which is part of our morning meeting speech. All right, we do have an attendance incentive loading. And with this attendance incentive, we're partnering with the North Fire Protection Department up the street, and they're going to provide 2 bikes and 2 helmets for each grade level. And we're going to raffle those off for those students that meet their goals or make improvement in their attendance for the end of the third quarter. So that incentive is loaded, okay? All right, on our next slide is our math star assessment from last year to this year, school year. Kindergarten does not take this assessment in math, but they do take it in early literacy. All right, this assessment is given in first grade, and I'm happy to announce that 28% of our scholars, our first grade scholars, scored basic, proficient, or advanced. Our second and fourth grade has shown a consistent decrease in the number of scholars that are in the below basic category. So we are moving scholars in the direction towards proficiency. Again, to improve and assist our scholars, we will be providing professional development opportunities to our teachers that focus on the different types of learners, critical thinking strategies, rigor, and relevance in an effort to challenge our students so that they are used to the type of questions they will see on these assessments, okay? All right, so on the next slide is a map comparison data. And what this is it's it compares our ELA and math data from the years 2022 through 2024. So our strengths, I'll highlight a few of our strengths, areas of improvement, and strategies for improvement. Our strengths is a significant increase in the average scale score, which demonstrates overall academic growth amongst those students we're tracking in a cohort in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, all right? We've also decreased the number of below basic students, which I will elaborate more on during the celebrations slide of my presentation. And what this indicates is that more scholars are moving into the basic category, and there's a slight growth in the number of students scoring in the proficient level. All right. So our areas of improvement and our targeted areas, there's still a high number of scholars that are scoring in the below basic category. So what we're going to do, and what we have been doing this school year, is targeting small group, providing targeted small group instruction in our classes. We have an intervention block that's built into our daily schedule. We also have the use of our wonderful reading specialist, Ms. Katz. She sees scholars every day, and those students, she works with specific skills with those scholars that we have identified, all right? And, of course, we will be providing professional growth opportunities to our teachers to assist them in planning and creating rigorous activities and lessons, including our resources such as Solution Tree and the coaches that come to us monthly. All right, so the comparison and map comparison data in math, there is a reduction. Our strength is there is a reduction in the below basic scholars, indicating progress in moving towards basic or above. Again, I'll elaborate on how the Masters was recognized for this achievement in the celebrations. Some areas of improvement in targeted areas. There was minimal growth at the proficient and advanced levels. So what we're going to do is we're providing intense math strategy, intervention strategies. Again, we go back to that intervention period and targeted instruction. And we're going to increase the exposure of our scholars to more rigorous and higher order thinking math questions, along with professional development for our teachers. All right, on the last slide is the celebrations. The first celebration is a significant reduction in the number of incidents that requires disciplinary actions. You can see our numbers. I don't even want to read that first 2022, 2023 number out loud, but you can see where we are currently and where we were last school year. So the things that we have been doing, our NTSS and our not PBIS, the strategies that we're using and that our teachers are being provided opportunities for growth in are working, all right? And so I'm gonna hang my hat on this one. The Masters Elementary received recognition from the St. Louis University Prime Center for exceptional student growth during the 2021 and 22 school year in ELA, the 22-23 school year in ELA and math, and last year in mathematics, while our colleagues at Moline were second in growth in the state. Am I correct on that one? Okay. See, there's a little competition that's going on between them. She was second in the state in growth. We made that list too. But I have to say that we were the first elementary school to be recognized by the Prime Center in the district. In 22, in 21 and 22. All right, so, thank you. All right, so the following teachers have facilitated significant growth from fall to winter, as indicated by the STAR assessment that was just given in January. So when I call your name, please stand, please. Ms. Phillips, in kindergarten. Yeah. 12 of her 25 scholars scored at a proficient or advanced level in ELA early literacy. And I have to mention, Ms. Phillips is a long-term substitute, a long-term guest teacher, and she participates actively in growth opportunities. So we want to congratulate her, and we want to keep her. Miss Baldo, second grade. 42% of her scholars show growth in ELA. We call those scholars that show growth and they go from below basic to basic, we call those band jumpers. And she had 42% of her scholars were band jumpers. Miss Gale, third grade. Twelve of her 24 scholars scored proficient or advanced in ELA on the STAR. Mr. Rosval, also affectionately known as Mr. R. Fourth grade, 12 of his 25 scholars scored proficient or higher in ELA. Dr. P, Dr. Pennington, fourth grade. Now, listen to this. 5 scholars have shown ELA growth of over 100 points in her classroom. From spring to the winter. This is what that targeted instruction does. This is what we get from having interventions and really drilling down on specific content areas and strategies and indicators that we work with our scholars on. And last but not least, the 5th grade team, Ms. Dino. Twenty-three of her 23% of her scholars have shown growth in ELA. And last of all, can all of the LeMaster staff that is here today stand up, please? These guys come in every day and they give it their best and they go home exhausted because they leave it all in this building. So that concludes my portion of this presentation. Are there any questions at this time?
Yes. Great job. How many students do you currently have? What's your enrollment right now?
As of today, 324.
Okay,
This
good.
has been the highest enrollment year that we have had in a long time, probably since I've been here. This is my 6th year here. And I think last month, we were at 333.
Okay.
But today, we were 324.
What are some of the reasons your attendance team is learning that's slowing down your attendance? What's going on with the parents, what they're saying?
I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but our kindergarten and first graders.
Yeah, kindergarten and first grade.
Which are what? Foundational. Those
Foundational
skills.
Yes, and they don't really have the opportunity to say, Mom, take me to school. Well, the 4th and 5th graders they'll walk or say, Mom, get up, take me. But the kindergartners, if Mom says they don't want to, they stay at home. So, and I whispered that because I don't want to get in trouble.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown, and
Well, thank you all.
congratulations for all your
Thank you all.
successes. And for
Thank you.
So,
you,
Mr.
thank you.
Brown, this
Yes.
brings a point, because when we track our students who have been with us since kindergarten with good attendance through 12th grade, they do extremely well. When I see what's happening here at LeMasters and Moline and Glasgow and all of our other schools, our staff are working very hard to make sure that our students are ready. Parents, send your children to school. I cannot, if they're here, they will learn. If they're here, we will make sure they're learning. I can't say it enough. Kindergarten, first and second grade are foundational skills. And if they don't have the foundational skills by the time they get to third grade, they will struggle. So it's not just kindergarten. It's not, it's foundational, and I just cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough.
I definitely.
Send your babies to school, parents. Please send your children to school. So, thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Junior. Ms. Shelby, you didn't? I thought you were going to close. Okay, we're going to move right along to discussion. I thought you were coming up to say something. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Moving on to our items for discussion. Our first item for discussion is a memorandum of understanding of student services. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell, the Executive Director of Community of Students and Community Support. And this presentation is in conjunction with policy DJF-2, purchasing. Ms. Liddell.
Greetings to the Riverview Gardens School District Board of Education, Dr. Tanya Patton, Superintendent, colleagues, and community. Memorandums of understanding are essential to the success of our district as they facilitate valuable support that enhances our educational experiences and overall well-being for our students. The district is committed to continuously identifying and establishing new partnerships that continue to contribute and create a healthy school community with achieving our academic and community goals. The two MOUs that I bring forth today are Dental Safari. Dental Safari is a dental program that will help, they'll bring vans out, and their staff will give x-rays, cleanings, fluoride treatment, sealants if necessary, cavity treatment, and restorative dental procedures as deemed necessary. This is free for all of our students because we're a 100% free lunch district. The second MOU I bring to you is the Juvenile Office of St. Louis County. With the Juvenile Office of St. Louis County, we will be given one DJO that will focus on a targeted group of students. What we will do with the targeted group of students is we will have the DJO target those students for attendance that we need. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Just need to update the signature part. You just need to update the signature part.
Very good. Is that pending?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I'm
joking. Okay. So the next item up for discussion is resizing the district, the budget reduction plan phase 2. Making this presentation is me in conjunction with Mr. Charles, and this is in conjunction with GCPA, reduction in professional workforce. So over this year, we discovered in, I believe, September, that there was an issue with our budget and we had to bring forth a revised budget. We immediately brought the revised budget back to the board, and I think we've revised it again since then, and we will keep looking at it to make sure that we are finalizing. We recognized at that point that there was a need to reduce the budget in Riverview Gardens. As Mr. Charles said, when you look at this time last year compared to this time, this year compared to this time last year, we have spent several $millions more this year than at this time of year. So there is a drastic need to resize our district and reduce our budget. The first phase was Mr. Charles and I met with budget leaders, and we asked them to reduce their budget across the district. So we met with all building principals, we met with all department heads, the superintendent's everyone was required to reduce their budget. And so we've done that. Phase 2 moves to a different phase, which is as I made my rounds throughout the district, I visited every school, and I shared the truth about where we were, and I was very transparent that we needed to reduce our budget. So this is Phase 2, and Phase 2 is focused on personnel. Now, I do want to say we will continue to look for ways to reduce our budget. We'll bring more information next month, which will be Phase 3 of reducing our budget. But in order for us to remain solvent, it is a must that we reduce our budget. With the reduction, over the last few years, we have made significant investments in student support, social emotional well-being, and providing competitive salaries to attract and retain high-quality educators. While this investment has positively impacted the district, the expiration of ESSER funds requires an adjustment to be made immediately. And so we are working on that, and we will continue to work on that as we make sure that we have as little effect on students as we possibly can. We also need to make these adjustments as you look to the future and you compare the last 6 years. We are down by about 431 students. Also, if you will recall, we did a demographic study, and they are projecting that over the next 10 years there will be a decline in enrollment within Riverview Gardens by about 800 to 1,000 students. Everybody has heard about the open enrollment bill that's coming forth that I'm understanding will pass, and that may allow 3% of our children to leave every year, as well as charter schools opening. So we have to make some adjustments. So what I bring before you is the budget adjustment in line with our goal for accreditation. So part of us becoming fully accredited is to maintain a balanced budget and a healthy reserve to avoid financial distress, efficient spending, and to make sure that we are using all of our resources and allocations in the right way to support our student learning. So while I won't go over every aspect of it, you will notice that on the district plan for resizing, there are reductions in administrative central office. There are reductions to building-based administration staff. I do want to make one revision. When you look at it, you'll see there are instructional coaches. I became aware of some information today. Instructional coaches will be moved off of this list as of now, but there will be reductions just across the board, and it will affect every building and every office within our district. We will continue to look for ways to reduce our budget because it is imperative that we do that. So I bring before you the resizing, the district budget reduction plan at a cost of $5,167,175. I also want to mention that this is a working document. It will change over time, and so I bring that before you, board members, and I'm recommending that the Board of Education approve the resizing budget plan, which will come later within our meeting. Are there any questions?
Testing, okay. I think I mentioned, and Mr. Charles, you would know about this, I don't know what the discussion was. So the building-based positions that we discussed were going to be just transfers over to other positions, but it's still reflected in here as if it's going to reduce the amount of our spending when they're just being transferred.
Right. So Dr. May, that's why this is a working document. It will change. It depends on what positions they go into. So we'll bring it back and we'll update this budget. Mr. Charles, would you like to speak to that?
Okay. The important thing is the positions are being eliminated. The people may go into another existing position,
For the building. We're just talking about the building one.
It could be anything they're qualified for. But keep in mind, the position is being eliminated, so it is truly a savings. So if someone is currently in a position that is eliminated, and they can fill a vacancy in an open position, we're still eliminating a position and saving money. That person will be earning the same amount of money, but we're now paying for one position instead of two.
So let me make sure I understand this. So we're gonna go with the one counselor, okay? So that one counselor moves to a teaching position, the salary is the same, right?
Could be for that person, but instead of having a teaching position and a counseling position next year, we only have a teaching position.
Right, but I'm just trying to, mathematically, it does not reflect a reduction if someone is transferring and receiving the same amount of money. So with those transfers being on here, it does not really show that we are reducing by the 2.5 million under the building-based positions. That's what I'm trying to.
It is a reduction because we had a teaching position and a counseling position this year. And let's say that teaching position is vacant and the counseling position we eliminate, the counselor slides over into that. Yes, that particular person is still receiving the same amount of money, but now the district is paying for a teaching position but not a counseling position. So we are, in the big picture of the whole budget, we are saving money.
Okay,
But
so.
you're right, the person stays the same.
Okay, so right now, with the 54 teacher vacancies or whatever, we're eliminating line items,
We're limiting positions.
positions and line items that currently may be filled, may not be filled. We're eliminating that, and then it's
Right.
gonna show a
And those
reduction this
people
way.
could fill other positions that open later. A lot of things can still happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And I do want to follow up, Dr. May. Thank you for saying that. We are working to fill the open positions with people that are listed, with positions that are listed here. So that will be our first goal, is to fill our open positions. So thank you for reminding me to talk about that.
And we're not eliminating teachers.
Right, yeah. With the 54 open positions, it may not be necessary to eliminate teaching positions. Other questions?
Thank you.
Mr. Sistrunk, before we move, do you want to talk about the meeting that's tomorrow that I neglected to talk about earlier, please, really quickly?
No problem. Yes, so tomorrow, Dr. Patton will be hosting a CAC meeting, Community Advisory Council. We're restoring this meeting. This meeting will be a meeting of community leaders, elected officials, and clergy. We're going to meet at 1 p.m. at Central Services in the boardroom, and we have invited all of these individuals to have a discussion about how we can partner together to better serve the Riverview Gardens School District community. So these are leaders from Dalewood, Ferguson, Jennings, Bell Fountain Neighbors, Riverview, again, and clergymen. We invited the mayors, the aldermen, the council people, and the clergy to this meeting. And so this is going to be a first step. These are going to be regular meetings that we're going to have, and we're just going to see how we can work together because all of us are serving the same community. And so we want to be able to bring business and industry. We want to be able to deal with attendance, deal with behavior, to get our babies to school. And so we just all want to partner together because we're working for the same goal. We're working for the common good. So we're just trying to bring everyone to the table. So tomorrow will be the first step in that endeavor.
Right, and we have to generate revenue. So we're bringing our community together. I'm hoping that we can all work together. As Mr. Sistrunk said, bringing industry and business to this area is going to be very important to the sustainability of our school district. And so we have, other school districts have large organizations, and they're drawing from that. And so I really want to work with our community to go after large organizations, to bring them to this area, because we can improve our schools and we can provide, make sure we have consistent funding. That will be my goal. So that is the reason. So thank you, Mr. Sistrunk, for saying that. And Ms. Lane, thank you for reminding me. Central Services, 1 o'clock. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
I do have one last question. I do have one last question. I guess it's for you, Mr. Charles, and the superintendent. I've kind of asked for like the phasing to be presented as well, so that the public would know the phasing of everything, like what's going to happen more immediately, what's going to happen at this part, because I think that gives a clearer picture even for the staff and the community of what's happening, so people don't immediately become alarmed that they may be, ready to jump ship thinking, oh, it's going to happen to me. But if it's clear, then, people know what to expect.
So these reductions that we have brought forth, some will happen this school year. The majority of them will take place for the 25-26 school year. And we will, phase 3, we'll bring that next month, Dr. May, and we'll talk more about it and involve our community in these discussions as well.
Okay. Yeah, if we just have a written document, something that's written, we're saying it, but then they can go and reference the document.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And Dr. Patton, I don't know if this is it's not on. Has any reductions already taken place in the district?
Yeah, we talked about that. We met with all of the budget managers, and we required them to reduce their budget. We also did what we normally do in the personnel department, was looking at class sizes over time, and we've made some reductions in that way as well.
To personnel?
Yes. Mr. Ford, do you want to?
We made some reductions after looking at, we made reductions at the end of first semester to be started as of January in first semester. And so those reductions were brought to the board with staffing adjustments, and those reductions were made. That's when we went and looked at class sizes, and we made adjustments in the elementary schools and in our secondary schools.
I remember that board item. Were there any other reductions that were made
The only other
to
reductions,
personnel?
the only other reductions that we have made were when we looked through the budget and we made those reductions. And then, as we always typically make shifts with our substitutes when we have openings, we need some of our substitutes to cover long-term assignments, some of our substitutes to cover building assignments. We made those adjustments, and then we also made a change where we took our building substitutes and we had to change them back to our day-to-day substitutes.
How many adjustments were made with substitutes?
Those adjustments for those building substitutes would have been 17.
17 adjustments? And they were adjusted from
They
what?
were adjusted from being what we called building substitutes. So all of our substitutes are hired as substitutes. When our substitutes are hired, they know that there's a rate, a daily rate of $140 a day. If you're doing a day-to-day assignment, if a long-term option comes available and they're willing to pick up that assignment, that rate changes to $230 a day. That's on their information when they're hired, and it's explained to them. They also understand if there's a need, we may have someone go out on maternity, and then we call them. If they're willing to pick that up for that time, they pick it up. We make that change, and then once that time is over, they go back to the daily rate. Once a certified teacher is hired for that position, they go back to the daily rate. And so those changes typically are made in HR, but they stay on the list as a substitute, as always, and the changes are made depending on what the assignment is in the building. This has been the process that I've gone back and checked into it since the question came up, when I could go back up to 2015, and this is the process that has been happening.
So, Mr. Ford, all of the long-term subs that were converted back to day-to-day subs were due to class size reduction, or they were replacing teachers who were on leave, or?
So there were some long-term reductions that were due to teachers being reassigned to different locations when we did class size reductions. There have also been some long-term changes when people come back as normal off of a sick leave or something like that. But then also, we had the luxury to have building subs. A building sub, or we call it a building sub, even though they're a substitute, we call it a building sub. This was a luxury that we've been able to have for the last 2 years, where we had a substitute assigned to each building, just in case that a teacher calls off after the 6:30 time when the system does not let you go in, and it also doesn't send it out to substitutes to get the assignment. And so that the building principals would have someone in their building to support them in those cases, because many times there are multiple people called off. And so it really supported us, but with the budget changes, we're not able to have that luxury anymore. And so we made the decision that we would move those ones who had been supporting us in a building role back to the day-to-day, where they just pick up the assignments.
And when will that be effective for the building subs that are going back to day-to-day?
The 28th,
28th?
February 28th.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions? Okay, at this time, may I have a motion to approve the items for action? And when you're making that motion, please keep in mind that we're removing that section. Please keep in mind when you're making that motion that we are removing that or taking out that part about instructional coaches.
So as amended.
Yes, as amended, yes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
You want to state it?
Madam President, I make a motion that we accept the items for actions with the exclusion of instructional coaches that will be removed from these items.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
It's been motioned by Ms. Lane and yes, ma'am. Second by Ms. Morrill to accept the items for action as amended. Roll call vote, please, Shay.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Abstain.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes,
The motion passes.
thank you. At this time, if there's nothing further, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn and re-enter into closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? Oh, I'm
Aye.
sorry. It's been motion and second by Ms. Williams to adjourn this meeting and go back into closed session. It's been motioned by Dr. Von Elliott and second by Ms. Williams to adjourn this meeting and move back into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
African attire. If you have on your African attire, please come towards the front so we can take a picture.